It is my absolute honor to tell you guys that today we had the opportunity to interview Dr. Vidya Yeravdekar, the Pro Chancellor at SIU. Let's take you through our conversation. Hi, ma'am. My first question to you is, you've seen education change lives across different regions and cultures. How do you envision campuses like ours become catalysts for that change?
Of course, education has evolved over the last several years, pre-independence, post-independence, and now, especially in today's times, with the new education policy that was rolled out by the Indian government in 2020, we see the fruits of that new education policy now. So, education has become very multidisciplinary. Students can actually choose the kind of courses they would want to study, and also with the presence of international students, with students from diverse backgrounds, it's a great learning for students. For this Nagpur campus, as I said, and I always say in my speeches, that try and embrace diversity, which means try and make friends with students from other states, other countries, because that is going to help you to build your personalities and characters.
Thank you. So my second question to you is, in your recent TEDx talk video, you mentioned that young women shared with you that they were respected but not educated. So what are your views on this gap between education and respect?
Yeah, so I was telling the story of my experience in Oman, where I lived for almost 6 years and practiced medicine. So I had a lot of women patients who came to me. And as I said, more than a doctor, I was a counselor for them. And during that era, in the early 90s, that I was there in Oman and in many regions of the world, even in India for that matter, in rural India specifically, women were limited to the household chores, right? I mean, education was only for men. So if there was a choice for a parent to send their son or daughter to school, it would always be the son go to school and the daughters would remain. Likewise, even in that country, while the women were respected in their families, but they were not educated, and they felt this gap more than anybody else, and therefore they always dreamt of educating their own daughters. And that's what I said. After a decade, when I went back to that country, I saw how those daughters got educated and how they were working at some of the top positions in banking sector, in retail sector, even in universities. And same is what we see in India today. Even in rural India, you see smart, confident young women who are well educated and also aspire to what their mothers have never done.
It's truly remarkable, ma'am. So my last question to you is, ma'am, you carry forward a remarkable legacy. How do you balance honoring the past with creating your own vision for Symbiosis?
So that's a very good question, because my father established Symbiosis in 1971, and at that time when nobody spoke about internationalization, in fact very few even spoke about the concept of Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, he brought students from different parts of the world and of course Indian students together. And I carry forward the same legacy, because internationalization, as we say, it's in the DNA of Symbiosis. And internationalization to us really doesn't mean just the number of foreign students or the fees that they pay. In fact, international students get a lot of scholarships because they come from Afro-Asian countries and they really come from very economically poor backgrounds. But for us at Symbiosis, it means diversity, it means inclusion. It also means that our Indian students learn a lot from this kind of diverse ecosystem that we create on our campuses. So for me to carry forward Dr. Mazumdar's vision for a high quality education, and also not just limited to India but spread it across the world, is my objective in life. And more importantly, carrying forward the philosophy of his belief of Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam is what I dream of.
Yeah. Thank you so much, ma'am, for your insights. It was lovely having you.